Welcome to this special screening of Under the Bombs. Can I please introduce the filmmaker? This is Philippe Araktinji. Philippe, how would you like to introduce your film?
This film was done just after the war in July 2006 in Lebanon. And there are mainly two actors. The rest of the people are playing their own role. They're not actors. And all the setting, everything you see is real, is realistic. Nothing is mise en scène or put for the camera.
I'm not going to give anything away, but there are some amazing scenes in the film. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll talk about it in the Q&A. When war returned to Lebanon in 2006, it took director Philippe Araktinji just 10 days to pick up his camera and start rolling. Placing his two actors amidst the real chaos, he presents a simple story. Shia Muslim Zainab, played by Nada Abu Fahad, has returned home to Lebanon to find her missing son. And Christian taxi driver Tony, played by George Kabaz, is the only one who'll take her into the war-ravaged south. While clearly against a war that killed over 1,000 Lebanese, Araktinji refuses to side with either Hezbollah or Israel. Under the Bombs took the top prize at the recent Dubai Film Festival. The lines of fiction and reality were often blurred, weren't they? These people were in a war zone, conveying what was happening to them at times. How did you feel about that as a filmmaker, knowing that you were putting on film, in a feature film, some real stories?
I've lived through a lot of wars, and I felt like the necessity to say that I have knowledge about what it is like to live through war and what it is about the feelings about war. It's not a process of making a film there, it's a process of witnessing for people who suffered. It's a wound. I've filmed a big wound, you know.
أنا هذا بيتي هون خلق هون عشت وهون بدي موت وانت عشو خوفيني يا بنت الدنيا بتهز ما بتقلق.
I was very struck by the dignity that was there and perhaps even a sense of strength.
This war is part of their destiny. It's part of their being. They take it with a lot of, as you said, what was the word?
I said dignity.
Dignity, yes. And while we were shooting, there is a balcony which is half destroyed, and in the other half, which is not destroyed, people were taking a coffee. And they said, please come and have a coffee with us. And they were so nice and so welcoming and so as if nothing happened to their life.
هيدا بيتكم؟ هون بالبناية كلها رفقاتي وأصحابي، هلا بطلع وينهم مش حدا مبين، هبت عمي، هون بيتنا.
I'm going to go there. Is it an anti-Israeli war film? Is it an anti-war film? How do you define it?
The thing is, I always try not to go into defining people as nationality and as religion. This is a film about a mother looking for a child, and this could have been in any war.
أنا ضروري ألاقيهم. هيدا ابني وأختي. يعني ابني الصغير بدي ألاقيه، مجبورة ألاقيه. وين معقولة؟ حدا شافه حدا
بيعرف حدا. I'm Lebanese, and this movie spoke to me. It made me cry twice. You shot in the middle of the war, and you went to a lot of ruins. How did you get access to this?
Quite easily, actually. You have to understand that we were not doing a film, we were living this film, we were discovering at the same time. If we see a helicopter, then we go to the helicopter and we try to create a sequence with this helicopter coming in. When this woman comes to us and talks about her child being dead, we were feeling this, we were crying also. I mean, we were not just, that's a good shot, can you do it again? I mean, most of it was done spontaneously.
رحت انا ولادي اثنين ودشرت ولادي بالكراج، فهمت علي كيف؟
تركتيهم.
تركتهم.
This is not a film of answers. This is a film of an experience and of the emotions of a moment. And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about the extraordinary way that you managed to bring these strangers into your family and had them be so real.
First of all, the crew. We were having fights every single day. Do we have the rights to shoot dead people in a fiction film? Months later, I understood who brought me into this film, not what. What brought me is the anger. What brought me is the hatred. Who brought me to this film is the people who were dying. Then I said, this scene is for them, therefore I'm doing this scene. I'm doing this film, I'm gonna go for it.
When I met George, who plays Tony, he vividly described to me the scene, and I asked him, because I was asking him what it was like to improvise, and he said it was very easy to improvise in that scene because of the sheer smell of death. And he said he never forgot that smell, and he was very upset, and that was a very difficult scene for him to do.
بدي لاقي ابني.
رح الاقيه. وعدك انه ما رح حل عنك الا ما نلاقيه. اتفقنا؟
What is important is, did you feel it? Did you understand what it was, war? Would you react differently in the next war when it comes to you, when you see it on TV? And that is the questions for me. That is the question that has to be raised. I'm asking you questions now.
Could we please thank the filmmaker here, this Philippe Arakpinji.
Thank you.
Baby, really, Zayden. لا تواخذينا ستنا، هذا شريط قديم بيعلق شوي.
From a film made in the rubble of war to an aid program that helps victims of war make films about their lives. You've heard of Live Aid and Band Aid. Well, this is Film Aid.
Several NGOs provide schooling, shelter or medical help to the refugees and local people of Kakuma in the northern Kenyan desert. Film Aid brings relief of a different kind. The New York-based NGO teaches refugees how to script, shoot and edit films.
Be unpredictable. Put suspense into your film. It's going to be very interesting. Watching people there quiet and they are hooked to the film.
Most of the 70,000 refugees here are from southern Sudan. They fled a war in which nearly 2 million civilians were killed and more than 4 million displaced. Dan saw many casualties on his arduous journey from Sudan.
If you can't walk, you just remain there with your relative. But some of them would die afterwards, and then the relative will leave them just there. You put somebody down, then you bury with the stones. You can't dig because you have nothing to dig.
He's part of a filmmaking group. Today they are voting. Everybody submits a script, and the 10 most popular will get made and screened at a film festival in the camp.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We have number 19. Number 19 is about evacuation and resettlement.
The themes they act out in their films are a reflection of the real problems that exist in the camp.
Why do you bring for me water with this dirty cup? Go and bring some more.
Lioness is a tale of child abuse. Many of the films are meant to help refugees understand their rights, such as this depiction of sexual exploitation.
You are a beautiful woman. I'm sure you can find a way to help me. For example, tonight at 8 o'clock, Masafi Lodge.
What you have experienced is a case of sexual exploitation and abuse. Maxwell will lose his job if he's found guilty.
I like acting, so it makes me creative, to make me forget some issues. It makes me just take life easy, because life is a matter of struggling and enjoying and suffering. That is how I enjoy acting.
Violence, often resulting from a combination of tribalism and alcohol, is a major concern here.
Come on, this is going to be war.
Now, are you happy to see this blood?
Sam Bullen's film is set in an area notoriously plagued by moonshine liquor.
You find many people just on the street here moving, fighting. You see, it is just as a result of this too much taking of drugs.
Other films reflect the claustrophobia of being trapped in the middle of a desert, with not much to do except wait to return home.
I end up of waiting peace, and still I'm under cage like animal in a camp. When I close my eyes, I hate my life and the environment I'm living.
Bingo and Dan will be completing high school in the camp this year. They're hoping to go back to Sudan and to continue making films.
I want to make films that can bring development in my country. You know, films that can bring people together but not to separate people.
Recently, new tensions have threatened a peace agreement that was signed in southern Sudan 2 years ago, moving the refugees' fondest wish once more out of reach.
I don't know whether I'll see my home. My dear brothers, let us go home.
Well, that's it for this fabulous picture show. Philippe, I found that cue personally very intense. How did you find it?
Well, also very intense, and I feel like people react to it very strongly because it's a human film, and it's a universal story about a woman looking for her child, and I think everybody relates to it, and that's very touching because you feel like you've done a universal message.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for bringing your film and being
Thanks
so
to
honest
you.
in your Q&A. You're most welcome, and we hope you'll also join us next time.
كله على رجل البيوت وكله على رجل كلهم بيرجعوا ها بس الروح بترجع ترجعش الروح.
I did appreciate the way that they were melding together a fictional narrative along with the obvious realism.
It's definitely one of the best films I've seen this year.
We have to understand each other. That's what the movie tells us.